4. Mayta Cápac the Fourth Inka, the constructor of bridges. Mayta Cápac, from what I read, I presume that you were a hyperactive child. A prevalent ailment in our days. Man of the future, how can you diagnose a condition hundreds of years later? The description of your behavior as a child may give a clue of your personality as an adult. It is said that you broke the leg of one of your playmates, which goes beyond the boundaries of this malady. Others say that you were precocious and continuously on the move, signs which are more indicative of this disorder. In itself not bad traits if channeled in the right direction. Who are you? Who dares to perturb me from my eternal sleep with these commentaries? Oh, Mayta Cápac. I feel that there is a tempest in the soul of our ancestors, and a hurricane in the minds of your descendants, for we, the dead and alive, have a great mission to accomplish. Of what mission are you talking about? Didn't we leave an empire to continue on our legacy? Mayta Cápac, the fourth Inka, the constructor of bridges 77. That is not what happened, and why I am disturbing your soul to assess our future. Days later, Mayta is playing in the temple with his uncles Apu Kondamata and Takashuinke. Unexpectedly, he shouts, "They are coming to kill me. Let us fight against the intruders." As a bystander of the past, I run to a corner and watch the events unfold. 10 muscular men come rushing and try to get hold of Mayta, who fights them, killing one and wounding another. The dust of the field clouds my vision, while I hear him say, "Dogs. Dogs. I am going to kill all of you." Help comes. The would-be assassins run away. Mayta goes to the dying man and asks him, "Who sent you?" "Mayta Cápac, you are valorous. But we, the Alcavixes, are going to expel the Incas from Cuzco." With his mouth full of blood, he ceases talking. The young prince finishes him off with a powerful blow to his head. The nobles, seeing the gory scene, ask him, "What happened?" "The Alcavixes came to kill me. Now, my father must understand that the way of the past is no longer feasible. We have to unify all the lordships around Cuzco, if we are to fulfill our destiny. They are going to come again. This is war." From the adjacent room, the aging Locupank is brought to the scene. "Mayta, how are we going to gain complete control of Cuzco if you don't get along with the people? You are not going to make a good Sapa Inka." "Father, I just tried to defend myself." "Great Locupank, why don't you let him take this city? You are too old, and our detractors will not stop until they get rid of us." 78 The Holocaust of all times. Apu and Taka, I will let Mayta do as he sees fit. The Alcavixes are the last people that we need to attract to our side. Mayta, your father finally understands that you must take the reins of the valley. With his abdication, we can proceed to subdue the Alcavixes. For the record, the Andean people were always eager to fight. So much so that there was not much difference between their festivities and battles. Anyone who thinks they were a docile race is in for a disappointment, for meek they were not. No empire has ever been formed by timid leaders. With the blessings of his father, Mayta Cápac gathered his exhilarated warriors and defeated the remaining Alcavixes. The city of Cuzco was finally under the control of the Incas. As the people heard of these events, they knew that the era of petty conflicts had come to an end, and the beginning of greater wars. Such is mankind's destiny that only through bloodshed we look forward to the future. Mayta Cápac became the reigning lord, and he had scores to settle with some communities in the valley of Cuzco. For that purpose, a dungeon filled with snakes, hungry pumas, and spiny plants was constructed on the outskirts of the city. Whoever survived the ordeal was considered innocent. With this new deterrent, the constitutionality of the Incas was instituted. The consolidation of Cuzco was a milestone not to be disregarded, for it happened in the sacred city. A metropole already larger than any other in the Andes, it signified the coming hegemony of the Incas. Those who were close came. Map of the Tawantinsuyo, the 4 cardinal points of the Inca Empire. 80. The Holocaust of all times. To offer their loyalty to the Inca, and if they lived far away they sent their sons to Cuzco to learn the ways of the Incas. In the great plaza of Aucapita, Mayta Cápac spoke to his subjects. We no longer have civil disputes, we will go to the Calasuyo that was once visited by my father. With more people coming to the valley of Cuzco, we must provide and keep them busy. For idleness brings the winds of discontent, and we are a fertile ground for rebellions. Mayta, at one time, your father came to Chiquito. They must know about the Incas. Man of the future, those people no longer remember who we were and why we have to start all over again. Perhaps, as a confederated Cuzco, we may be able to retain our allies. I will go to the Titicaca Lake. They say that on its shores there are some ancient ruins. On his way and in the distance, the megalithic ruins of Tiahuanaco could be seen. Kuntersol, I wonder who built this ancient metropole? I see no quarries nearby. How can we explain from where and how they brought these huge boulders? These lands are so inert that not even stones can be found. Look at that gate that leads to nowhere, only the sun rays cross its entrance. Mayta, look at those carved figures of humanoid heads that appear to be wearing astronaut-like helmets. It seems that we are finding more vestiges of extraterrestrial beings here, who might have come and gone thousands and thousands of years ago. Mayta Cápac, the 4th Inca, the constructor of bridges. 81. Man of the future, that is why they say that the supreme Huayracocha built this place. We don't know when, but we know that he will be back. Were you the one who started the rumor of the return of the Huayracochas? No, we have been hearing that story from our ancestors. Inca, the ones who came from the other side of the world were humans, and not demigods. Kuntersol, in time, we will see who they are. But, after seeing this place, we will build similar structures in Cuzco. Mayta, have you been talking to your sorcerers of future events to come? Because the Incas also built colossal structures, and we don't know who started it all. Man of the future, someone began and others finished what I predicted. Nobles, I have to return to Cuzco with half of my men, the other half will go an expedition to that deadly desert that my father was only able to see from the Cordilleras. We need to find out who inhabits the land to the west of us. Mayta, I would like to go with your young nobles. The lowlands should do me some good. Go with them, but don't put any of your thoughts in their minds. Inca, to change ideas and to think different is what will unite mankind. Tsuechi, Alpa, Conti, and Walpea, take the man of the future with you. He wants to learn of his past. Why? I don't know. Maybe you will comprehend him. 82. The Holocaust of all times. Sapa Inca, he greatly desires to learn of our times to understand who our descendants are. Tsuechi, don't take the man of the future too serious, especially your younger cousins who are going with you. At sunrise, Mayta Cápac continued south and his generals marched west, to the Contasuyo. Kuntersol, you are barely breathing. Carry me in a hammock, give me plenty of coca, and I should be able to travel. You are getting used to the coca. I will not, if I only use it to relieve the high-altitude sickness. As they marched on the high Cordilleras, I could hear my porter's rapid steps. In my delirium caused by the coca and the thin air, I could feel a sense of levitation. In that state of detachment, I began to give speeches on how to recover what we lost, while rejoicing in the tumultuous resounding of my surname. Kuntersol. Kuntersol. Wake up. You are dreaming, and you are talking in a foreign language. How long have we been traveling? It is already late in the Afternoon. Yes, you slept throughout the highest part of the trip. In your hallucinations, you seem to have accomplished what you want to do for our people. Look at Inti, that is also in a trance after crossing the Andes. Tsuechi, just for this magnificent view of the sun setting over that great desert, it was worth coming. Kuntersol, this is as far as Lokupank came. In the morning, we will descend. Mayta Cápac, the fourth Inca, the constructor of bridges 83. It is incredible to see so much dry land. I am not sure if all of it is a desert. We have heard that their inhabitants have mastered these arid lands, and they are able to produce whatever they want. That is why Mayta Cápac sent us to locate these people, and someday form a great nation with them. Kuntersol, our scouts are telling me that there are scattered people willing to fight us. I will go and alert my warriors. If my young cousin Conti comes, tell him to meet me where our troops are. Conti, good that you came. Tell me, are you ready for the task ordered by the Inca? Just like any young noble, I only come to learn the art of war. Since you have come to our past, I would like to learn more of the future where you come from. Young captain, what I know is the result of more than half a millennium of difference between our times. More important is that I am here to find out why our civilization fell. Although we speak of an Inca empire, I am doubtful that that is what it was. How is it that in your times they accept us as an empire, and you, as one of us, do not think of us as one? I think part of the problem is the blind obedience that you had for your leaders, and Kuntersol. Stop what you are trying to tell my cousin. Conti. You should be with your troops. Kuntersol talks of the future, and that could bring you problems. Tsuechi, I was not talking against Mayta Cápac. 84 The Holocaust of all times. Don't get into any discussions with the young nobles, they will not understand your motives. Keep your thoughts for the Inca lords who are under the guidance of Inti. We only benefit or suffer the consequences of their acts. I apologize for this incident. Let us continue downhill that I can now do it on my own. Days later, they encountered desert warriors who secluded themselves in a fort without storing enough food or water. Walpeya, go to those people and tell them that we want to be their allies. Conti, come with me to learn how to win over the enemy without having to fight. People of these deserts. We have crossed those high mountains, where Inti rises. His son, our Sapa Inca, has sent us to learn about you, and someday unite with us. No. We will never join with the mountain people. Tsuechi, the coastal people will not surrender. They know that we are intolerant of this hot environment, and in a few days we will leave. We should surround them until they give up or die. After some time, the children came out of the fort to forage for herbs to eat. The Incas took pity and offered them food. Seeing their kindness, they gave up. They told the Incas of powerful kingdoms farther north, and that they would not be able to reach to them by going on the brutal coast, but by descending from the mountains. Mayta Cápac, the fourth Inca, the constructor of bridges 85. Kuntersol, now that we have seen what Mayta Cápac wants to know of the deserts, we can return to the Cordilleras, where in the thin air the gods are closer to us. I am not sure about being closer to the gods, but I know that only certain people can live in those high altitudes and produce special crops to feed not only themselves, but in time the hungry old world that is not thankful for our products. Kuntersol. We were conquered, and the conqueror owes nothing to the subdued. Don't forget that we were also going to other nations to unite them. But, unlike our vanquishers, not to enslave them. You were not enslaving them corporally, but spiritually by not fostering their individuality to forge their own destiny. What do you mean, their own destiny? In these lands, an individual cannot even harvest for his own survival, let alone for the welfare of the nation. Perhaps, that is why the Incas created an empire of citizens without free will. Is that what you were trying to teach Conti? No, but that is an example of how the Incas controlled the minds of their people. I make no distinction between the Sapa Inca and his subjects to express my thoughts. We are only different in the abilities that we all have, and why we must respect each other's capabilities. Man of the future, our minds are a millennium apart. We must return to Cuzco. Country soul, how did my generals act in my absence? Great Mayta Cápac, they are loyal and capable warriors. But, they don't think for themselves. Hanging bridge built over the Apurimac River that was able to withstand the weight of the Inca warriors. And eventually would support the mounted conquerors on their apocalyptic horses of destruction. Charcoal. Sketch by Anya Hovland, USA. Mayta Cápac, the fourth Inca, the constructor of bridges 87. Man of the future, I am the only one who can filter their ideas with the guidance of Inti. That was in our past with your idols, that is our present with foreign gods, and look what we are. If we were conquered by a superior civilization, why didn't my descendants improve on our legacy? For the same reasons that you had, the filtering of our thoughts by men of politics and religion. Months later, Mayta wanted to know if there were territories beyond the Apurimac River, to the northwest of Cuzco. Country soul, not only is that turbulent river called the Great Speaker. Its shores of rising cliffs have also served as a natural barrier, keeping us safe from invaders. For years I have been making models of a bridge, and I will build one with the help of my Amauta's wise men who are becoming more ingenious as our nation gears into expeditions of unification. As you said, war is the catalyst for the advancement of any civilization. We were also committing ourselves to that endeavor. That all humans cherish, war. With legions of builders, the Incas left in the direction of the river. As they got closer, one could hear the cascading sounds of the old storyteller that for thousands of years has been trying to tell us something. Mayta, where did you get so many people, and on both sides of the river? Men, women, old, young, and even children. I suppose that is what you mean by working together for the good of all. How I wish we had leaders like you to guide the country to work together, even if no greatness is accomplished, for glory. 88 The Holocaust of all times is fleeting, and the trumpets of triumph eventually run out of air. But union will last forever. Country soul, you have been making negative comments on how we became an empire, hinting that we oppressed our own people to achieve that goal. Perhaps, your question should be how to form a utopian society? We almost reached that goal, but strangers from other worlds interrupted us on our path to become an ideal society. It is possible that the Incas were getting closer to that concept. You had no hunger or lack of work, but in the end you created an empire of people unable to think for themselves. So, no one knows what problems utopia may bring. In the process we are annihilating each other to attain that perfect state. Using ropes of weed and cactus fiber, a hanging bridge was built to withstand the weight of the Inca warriors, and eventually would support the mounted conquerors at galloping pace on their apocalyptic horses of destruction. After the bridge was built, the Incas crossed to the west. Country soul, look at that majestic peak crowned with white snow, so beautiful that I will name it Corapuna Wonderful. While marching on the bone-dry desert they also encountered the magnificent volcano, El Misti, above a green valley in the middle of nowhere. After this expedition, the Inca returned to Cuzco to spend his last days. Mayta Cápac, what is your message before you join Inti? Country soul, great friend of the times, I feel that we have failed for not giving freedom to our people. Mayta Cápac, the fourth Inca, the constructor of bridges 89. You tried to foment that concept in the minds of our young, but we stopped you from spreading that thought. I hope that at the end of our journey, we will mend our faults in the past. Thus, I say to all my descendants, never be ashamed of your heritage, for the saga of our race was not and is not a perfect one. Remember that only you will create your own volcanoes of desperation, and only you will spill your tears of hope, for no one will cry for you. I said goodbye to one more of my ancestors. For no matter how flawed they were, they are mine to suffer their imperfections, and mine to enlighten in their greatness. That is called the growth of the soul, and the best trees grow from the lava of thunderous volcanoes. Volcano, El Misti, above a green valley in the middle of nowhere, and where the city of Arequipa was founded. Picture taken by Dr. Anibal Pepper, PMS.